Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. In today's video, I wanted to do a part 2 of chatting about eyeshadow palettes that I decluttered in the past. I uploaded a video like this recently, probably about a month ago by the time this video goes up, and you guys seem to really enjoy it. You enjoyed walking down memory lane just as much as me, you were surprised by the amount of palettes that you'd forgotten about just the same as me, and you definitely wanted to see another part to this series, so I figured I'd whip that up today. Before we get into the video itself though, I did of course film this look. It should already be up on my Instagram and TikTok by the time this video goes up. And then let me just give you my jewelry details. Not that I have much, I just have earrings today, but these are from Shop Sun & Co. You can use my affiliate code battybean to save 10%. All right, so without further ado, let's just hop in and chat about some palettes that I decluttered in Makeup's Past. Let's do a little scooch so that I can insert pictures. So basically how I did it last time was I went to basically my oldest makeup collection and declutter videos and just looked at the list of things that I listed, and anything that I decluttered I started talking about. So these aren't in declutter order per se, it's just these are the first things that pop up on this list for me to chat about. Let's see, where did we leave off? We did a lot last time and there is still a lot to go. There will probably be multiple parts to this series if you are down. All right, I guess let's kick it off with Morphe. We didn't talk about Morphe last time. I was the biggest Morphe collector, as a lot of us were. Early YouTube days definitely influenced me, that's for darn sure. The Morphe Kathleen Lights palette, this one was so cute to me at the time. I don't think it's that revolutionary right now, but it does definitely suit Kathleen's like makeup preferences. I loved that mustard yellow in the bottom there, and I loved that shimmer green. I feel like this is a really nice, well-rounded palette, and I appreciate how it's not ginormous. I don't think the size was a big deal for me back then. If anything, I did like larger palettes back in the day, but now I do like the size of this. It's very concise. Is it totally my style anymore? Absolutely not, but it is cute for what it is. The Morphe 25 A and B palette. I wanted these so bad, and I cannot tell you why, because why did I need both of these? Let's chat about this one first, the A. It's just a bunch of cool tone browns. This could have been much smaller. I do think I used this quite a bit though. I actually used this palette back when it was square pans. It's circle pans now, if it's still available. The newest version of it is circle pans, but I had it back when it was square pans in a plastic container. Oh, I guess the 25B actually is more cool tone than the other one. Just the other one looked kind of cool tone by itself, but in comparison, this one's much more cool toned. This one's prettier to me out of the two. I like how deep this one gets, but again, it's huge for what it is. This did not need to be as big as it was, and I don't know why I thought I needed these. The Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. This was my favorite for quite a while. I loved this palette. Again, I feel like it's much larger than it needed to be. This could have been condensed quite a bit and you can still get the same message across, but I can't deny it though. I loved this palette. I used the heck out of it. It was so dirty and dinged up. I don't have any Morphe palettes anymore at this point, but yeah, it got so dirty and so dinged up. I used it so much. I mean, that was back at the time where, again, I mentioned last time, these early like 2017, 2018 YouTube days definitely influenced me to just rock the warm toned eyeshadow and copper smoky eyes, and this palette definitely helped satisfy that need. Played with pops of color with those blues and purples. This was very exciting at the time, but I do not think it's very exciting now. Oh my gosh, the Morphe 350. This was so hard to get. Do you remember how difficult this was to purchase? It always sold out literally instantaneously, and when I finally got my hands on it, I was so proud of myself. I loved the like mustardy, orangey, brownie tones, but I really only stuck to like the brighter half, if I remember correctly. I don't feel like I used the neutrally half as much, just because at that point I already had other Morphe things, so why would I need to reach for the neutrally side as much? I did play with the warmer side more. And then the Morphe 3502 came out, and this one I was so pumped for. I feel like I could have skipped out on this one for sure. I did like how bright some of those shades were, but for the most part it was the exact same palette, but with a couple extra brighter pops. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think I got as much use out of this one as the 350. You know, and orange isn't my favorite to play with anymore anyway, so these are totally not up my alley. It just blows my mind how incredibly popular the 350 was. It literally always sold out instantly. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, the 35B, the OG rainbow palette. If I'm not mistaken, this was the first palette I ever purchased from Morphe. I actually got it at the Premiere Orlando hair show a few years ago. I don't know if they still come there, but there used to be a Morphe booth there, and the line would always be outrageously long. You'd be waiting in line for at least 30 minutes. And when I saw the tent from afar, I was like, wait, I'm watching YouTube videos now. This was at the very beginning of my makeup journey. I was like, I recognize that Morphe name. I should go walk up there and check things out. And they had all their brushes, all their palettes. That's pretty much all they had back then. It was the very beginning stages of them as well. And I really wanted this bright rainbow palette, and I loved it for a while. I ended up deciding that it wasn't really my favorite formula for bright colors, but I did use it a lot when I first got it. Oh, the 35W, I think this is the other one I bought at that same day. It's fine. It's like just a bunch of cool tone browns with a couple pops of plum. There's an orange sprinkled in there. It's very fall-esque, I will say that. Like if you're a neutral lover, this is a very just like fall, cozy kind of palette, but like on the cool tone side of fall. I feel like fall can go into like two different categories, cool tones and warm tones. This is like cool tone fall. Although it's called the warm eyeshadow palette. To me, this is not very warm. It's very cool tone, but you know, it is what it is. I used my 35B a lot more than this one. And then once I got like my Jaclyn Hill palette and 350, I used those a lot more than this one, but I did enjoy this one for a little while. And finally, the 35F Fall into Frost. This was a very shimmer heavy palette. I wanna say at least 2/3 of this palette were shimmers. Lots of just like kind of grungy jewel tones, but like lightly, like they weren't super rich and super deep, but lightly sprinkled of grungy tones. This one's cute. Again, I don't feel like I remember using this one a ton, but maybe I did because I kind of forgot about this one, to be honest with you. Again, it's very huge. This could have been condensed down for sure. What is the Crown Brush Glam Metals palette? I literally don't remember this. Okay, I vaguely remember this. I think I got this in a BoxyCharm, potentially my first BoxyCharm ever, because this seems like it was so long ago. I literally do not remember this. I do not remember how often I used it. My gut is telling me I didn't use it very often. This is kind of boring to me. I literally forgot that existed. Oh my gosh, the Violet Voss hashtag palette. There's kind of a funny story with this. I mean, it's not that funny. My best friend Mackenzie, she convinced me to buy this because she thought that I would enjoy it and she thought that it would make a good YouTube video. And mind you, she didn't even own this palette. She just thought that I would enjoy it. She was like, there are not a lot of videos of this palette on YouTube. You should get it and you would enjoy it, and then you could be one of the only people with a video. And you know, she was actually right. That video got like decent views. Again, very small views at the time. I was a very small channel back then, but it did end up doing better than some of my videos I'd been putting out, so she was right about that. And I actually did really enjoy it. This isn't really my vibe anymore. I'm not really into like these sunsetty kind of tones, very orange heavy, not really my vibe, but I loved this at the time. I thought it was so pretty and I got a ton of use out of this. Oh, let's get into some Juvia's Place. Juvia's Place Magic Palette. This was my first Juvia's Place palette ever. Mackenzie actually gifted this to me for my birthday a few years ago. I think I only just decluttered this last year. It was just getting kind of old and I'd broken some of the shades, but I loved this at the time. I feel like my biggest critique with this were I didn't love the matte choices that they picked. I feel like there should have been maybe like 1 or 2 more mattes to make this perfect, because there was like a really dark purple, a dark blue, and then kind of like a light orange, and then like a beigey off-white shade. So I feel like the mattes weren't perfect for this palette, but I did love this for a long time. I loved the purple shimmer and I loved all the greens. I was really into this palette. Oh, the Zulu! I loved this one as well. I think I only got rid of this one maybe a year or 2 again as well, just because, I don't know, I just found myself not reaching for it as much anymore, but I loved this guy. Those bright shimmers, I loved that matte turquoise. This was so much fun. This definitely helped me with my love of color and helped me, I don't know, just feel really creative. I was really into this one. Ooh, the Saharan 2 palette. This one I also loved, and I felt like it was really underrated. I feel like people don't really talk about this one, but it was really pretty. A very rich berry matte, a nice deep warm brown, lots of beautiful shimmers. There's a really pretty kind of shifty minty turquoisey shade there in the middle on the right. That shimmer blue was gorgeous. I really enjoyed this palette. Keeping with Juvia's Place, the Festival palette came out, and I'm pretty sure I bought it the day of launch because, again, I was trying to collect things back then. I had very much a collector's mentality, if you can't tell by the fact of the amount of palettes from a certain brand I would own at a time. I wanted to collect them all literally, And the festival, I'm pretty sure I bought on launch day, and then it arrived. I don't know why I remember this. It got delivered while I was at work, and I still worked at a salon in the mall at the time, and I think we closed at 9, so I probably got home around 9:30, and I immediately just went to film. I'm pretty sure I didn't even eat dinner first. I wanted to just film and get it uploaded. I used to stay up till all hours of the night doing videos. I don't know how I did it. I was workaholic, that's for sure. I mean, I still am, but I at least know when my bedtime is now. But regardless, I enjoyed this palette for quite a while. I don't remember exactly why I decluttered this, probably just because it wasn't really my favorite thing anymore. But I did enjoy this for a while. It was very bright, very punchy. I liked the different tones of colors in here. I thought it was very creative and unique. The Freak palette. This is honestly the first palette I tried from them where I wasn't like super impressed. Some of the shades were great, but some of them weren't. That matte blue in particular was pretty awful. It was very patchy, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that matte green either. I don't know, overall it was okay, but this one didn't wow me at the time as much as some of my other Juvia's Place ones did. Ooh, we got another ABH palette to talk about. I talked about a lot of ABH ones that I decluttered last time, but I guess this one didn't exist at that point, or I probably would have talked about it last video. But the Norvina palette, I actually liked for a really long time. I'm pretty sure I held on to this one in Subculture for the longest. I really liked just how soft and pretty this was. It was very glam and romantic, eyelashes fluttering kind of look. I don't know what I'm talking about. I really liked that blushy pink and purple, and then the row of shimmers on top were very pretty. I love the different purples and pinks. This one I thought was very, very cute. One of my favorite palettes from them. Ooh, the MOTD Cosmetics Rayna del Caribe. This was in a BoxyCharm, I'm fairly certain, and I thought this was really cute at the time. I ended up decluttering it just because I felt like it wasn't really that innovative anymore. Just the warm tones with a pop of blue wasn't really my vibe for a while. Still not completely my vibe, but there was a period of time where I just got very burnt out from that because every palette looked like that. This one was pretty good though. The mattes blended nicely, the shimmers were pretty. It wasn't anything crazy revolutionary, but I did enjoy it. Oh, this one hurts my heart. The Dose of Colors Desi X Katie Friendcation palette. I loved this one, and I'd probably still have it if I didn't drop it so many times and shattered, I think, 2 of the shades ultimately, and they were like my 2 favorite shades. The mattes were so buttery smooth. The mattes themselves aren't anything revolutionary. We just have like a pink, a warm orangey brown, a dark brown, a light tan, just very basic colors, but they were very buttery, very smooth. But the shimmers were so outstanding in this palette. That beautiful blue on the top right shifted to the deepest, most lovely, rich, purpley indigo color. I can't believe I shattered that shade. I'm sure I have like similar versions of that now, but at the time that was so unique in my collection and I was devastated. I broke it to the point where I could not keep repressing it. It was nothing. It disintegrated. That grungy olivey shade in the top there, my brain wants to say it's called Dirty Martini because I love this palette so much. I just remember. So pretty. There was a beautiful toppery shadow on the middle down there that just made everything look wet. This was such a good palette. There's a chance I wouldn't own this one anymore still just because the colors aren't that me except for like some of those shimmers, but I was so sad that I was kind of forced to declutter it because I broke it so much. Ooh, let's talk about some Lime Crime. The Lime Crime Venus palette. This is such an OG. I wanted this for such a long time. I remember first discovering Lime Crime like way, way back, like when they were brand new. And they were teasing this palette. They were showing like 1 shade a day and I was so pumped, but I wasn't able to afford it at the time, so I didn't end up getting it. And then years later, I ended up treating myself to it because there was a sale, and I did enjoy it for a while. Just nice, grungy, warm colors, a couple pops of shimmer. Nothing that outstanding and revolutionary, but I did think it was pretty and rusty. Next, the Venus 3. The Venus 3 disappointed me. This did not feel like the same formula to me. The mattes just seemed very sheer, very, very like, I don't know how to explain it. They just had a sheerness to them. They weren't super opaque, and the shimmers I had to really, really dig in to get them to show up nicely, so this one kind of had me disappointed. I eventually tried the Venus Vivid one too. I'll pull up a picture of that as well. And I ended up returning that palette. And I don't return palettes very often, but this one was just awful. It was so patchy and hard to work with. I was so not impressed. And from that point, I just really haven't been excited to try any of their palettes anymore. I just feel like their formula doesn't really work for me. Maybe they've changed since then, who even knows? We're all gonna have our own different opinions. I'm sure someone in the comments is gonna rave about their newer palettes, but I don't know. I just haven't been inspired to pick anything up. Oh, the Colourpop Zodiac palette with Kathleen lights. This one was a lot of fun. I can't remember the exact reason why I decluttered this one. It probably just wasn't sparking enough joy in my life anymore, but I did love this at the time when it came out. I was so pumped. I'm pretty sure I actually had Zane set an alarm at his work and buy it for me because he was able to take a break at his like office job versus me in my salon where I can't always take a break. So I'm pretty sure he actually set an alarm and got this one for me because I was so scared of it selling out. I loved that shimmery turquoise on the bottom, and I loved the different just tones of neutrals and colors in here. I thought this was really, really fun at the time. Let's just do one more. Let's do the Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag palette. And it's so funny because he just recently came out with like his revamped version of that palette. I was so pumped when this first came out. I watched Manny all the time back then. I still watch his videos here and there, but I was a dedicated follower back then. Every single video I watched. And I was so pumped for the launch of his brand. I like the direction he's gone with his brand since then a lot more. I like that he's really just honed in on the Lunar Beauty aspect rather than just Manny's face on a palette. But I did use this one a lot at the time. It was definitely a good divide of half neutrals, half colors with a couple shimmers in the middle. I got a lot of use out of this one. It's cute. I'm pretty sure I decluttered this one when I just ended up realizing it wasn't my favorite formula. His formula's gotten so much better since then. I love his palettes now, but this one just, I don't know. It was only okay. I feel like it was a good start for him, but I'm glad that that isn't really what he stuck to and he really branched out and got more creative with his releases. So yeah, that is part 2, walking down memory lane, chatting about some palettes that I decluttered in the past. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you have any of these palettes still? Did you ever have them and declutter them also? Do you still want any of these? I would love to chat down below. I'd also love to hear about some palettes maybe you've decluttered in the past. I would love to know just why certain things stop sparking interest for you. I think it's fun to see and reflect on things that we used to enjoy and maybe reasons why we don't anymore. Again, if you want me to continue this series, let me know. There are a lot more palettes I can talk about, but I didn't want to do it all in one video or we would be here for 5 hours. If you made it to the end of this video, why don't you leave me? I don't know. I guess last time I said leave me an emoji that you no longer use that you used to use, and I really enjoyed seeing what you put for that, so let's go with that again. Leave me an emoji that you used to use that you no longer use. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me on my other socials. You can join the battybean fam. I am battybean on everything. I post every single day on Instagram, and I'm pretty active on TikTok and Twitter as well. And you can subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I post most days over here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.